What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be going over my carnivore diet 30-day challenge, what I thought about it, how I'm feeling, if I'm going to continue it, things of that sort. So I'm going to give you my opinions on that, so let's dive into it. Alright, so it's been 30 days since I started the carnivore diet, and I made a live stream about a month ago talking about the carnivore diet and how I wanted to try it out and just my opinions about diet overall. So if you have not checked out that live stream, there's going to be a card up here for you guys to go check that out. So 30 days, guys, was the overall goal of me trying to achieve the carnivore diet, and I only cheated one time, one major time really. You know, it was very, very difficult at first to really get into this diet. I'm not a person who's really tried too many diets in my lifetime. This is basically a full first time for me. I have not tried anything else really. Now, with that being said, guys, this diet has done a lot for me when it comes to my overall view of food and just your diet in general, my health, and it just made me really conscious of what I'm really putting into my body. And I would say those were some of the biggest things that were great about the diet. Now, my goals on this diet were to basically try to make my eating as efficient and just as simple as possible. I'm not a person who likes to count calories or count carbs or anything like that. I just wanted something that was easy to follow and that I could fill up on. And also my other goal was to just lose some fat on my overall body. I wanted to get a little bit more lean. I've been in the gym, so I just wanted to, you know, try out the diet for that aspect as well. So I'm going to break this down into just how I felt in the first 4 weeks, guys. So breaking it down by week. So in the first week of the diet, I should say also the first few days of the diet, I felt very fatigued and also kind of brain foggy. Okay, like I wasn't really as sharp as I usually was when it came to my mental stimulation and my mental output. So it was kind of weird for me at first. You know, when you're talking to a bunch of clients in the barbershop and you're going to the gym, you're trying to be focused. It's kind of brain foggy for the first, I'd say, 3 to 4 days, and adjusting to that was a little bit difficult at first. And you know, the first week for me was very hard at first, but then towards the end of the week it started to get a little bit easier. So starting off this diet is actually very tough to do because at the time my diet consisted of a lot of meats already, so I think I might have had probably an easier time adjusting to this diet than somebody else who probably, you know, was a vegan or a vegetarian or who never really ate that much meat or has a lot of carbs and sugars in the diet. Me personally, I did have a lot of carbs and sugars in the diet, but also I had a lot of meat in my diet. I've always eaten a lot of meat, so I think it was a little bit easier for me to adjust at first. What I noticed was, again, adjusting to it was a little bit easier, but I still had some signs of maybe just my body adjusting and changing out my energy source, basically, because that's what you're doing on carnivore. You're switching how your body basically uses its energy from carbs and sugars to basically off of fats. So tuning in the diet in the first week was a little bit tricky, trying to figure it out, you know. And then when it came to like my bowel movements and stuff like that, kind of personal and gross, but just need to talk about it. So when it came to that kind of stuff, it was a little bit on the rough edge, and you know, I was not really feeling too much any different from before I started the carnivore diet. It didn't really hit me. My digestion prior to the carnivore diet was not the best. It was on and off all the time, depending on what I ate. So when I started the carnivore diet, it wasn't too bad, but it could be a little bit better. Before I started the second week, I started to have a little bit of health issues that are not related to the diet at all. I had to get a toenail removed on that Sunday, and so a week into the carnivore diet, I had to get my toenail removed, and that fucking sucked, man. It was very painful, but also I had to be put on antibiotics. So with that being said, the second week I started to feel a little bit better. My energy, what I found on the second week, started to become more stable. Okay, usually before I started this diet, I was up and down, just going everywhere with the diet, with my energy. I had crashes after lunch. I was very tired in the morning. couldn't get to sleep because, I don't know, maybe because of sugar or my insulin levels. But once I started to get adjusted to the diet a little bit, I noticed my energy became very stable and became constant. It wasn't up, it wasn't down. I didn't feel fatigued. I felt like very stable when it came to the overall energy. Now also when it came to like my bowel movements and stuff the second week, since I was on antibiotics, it's hard for me to kind of tell exactly what happened, because when I'm on antibiotics, it just destroys my gut bacteria, and I usually get pretty bad diarrhea, as probably everybody else does, or most people probably do. So the second week I did start to get a little bit of diarrhea. But again, I did not know if that's from the antibiotics or the carnivore diet. Maybe it's a mixture of both, but my guess probably had to be because of the antibiotics. Those always mess my stomach up. So also in the second week, I noticed that it was a little bit easier for me to figure out what I was going to eat. I narrowed it down. Before I started this diet, I did a lot of research. And in the second week, I noticed again, the energy was feeling a little bit better. I was feeling more sharp and also just feeling really good. Now I wanted to also just touch on the gym as well. So one of my biggest concerns for this diet was losing strength or losing size or anything like that when it came to this diet. Now I did notice that I lost quite a bit of body weight, I think because of how my body was balancing out water on this diet. So the second week I started to see some differences for sure in my overall bloating look. And in the gym I did not notice any signs of decreased strength at all. If anything, I've experienced a more sustainable energy level, and also I felt strong. I felt good. I was not on any creatine. I've taken creatine in the past before the diet. Not on any supplements, guys. Nothing. I was just going to the gym, just doing my thing, and it felt pretty good, man. At this time, because of my foot and I had to have that toenail removed, I was not really able to walk too much, guys, in the first couple days. I had to be really well rested, so I took some time off the gym in the beginning of the second week of the diet. And also, when I started to go back to the gym, I wasn't able to hit my legs, really. I haven't been able to hit my legs for the past 2 weeks because of this foot. So I was doing a lot of body weight stuff, a lot of upper body work, chest exercises, arms exercises, back, shoulders, everything like that. Just couldn't hit the legs. So getting on to the third week, guys, I realized that I was really feeling good, man. I started to feel very well, and I was liking the diet so far. Now my cravings were going up and down in the beginning. I craved a lot of sugar at first because, you know, sugar is like a fucking drug, man. It's worse than a drug. You get so addicted to it that breaking it is like quitting cigarettes, honestly. And I smoked for a long time, and it was hard for me to quit that. Honestly, it's probably harder than that. Quitting your sugar intake is harder than quitting cigarettes, guys. It is so difficult, and your urges to want to eat it are very substantial in the beginning. But around the third week, I started to realize that my cravings weren't as bad, but I still had them. And also, that third week is when I did my cheating, okay? Now, this is where I started to realize a few things about the diet maybe, or just in general about how my body wants to react to certain things, because that's what this diet is about. It's an elimination diet and adding things back in. So that night, Monday night, I went to my mother's house, and my mom is a very good cook, guys. She cooks some of the best food ever, and she made some homemade chicken mole with Spanish rice, pinto beans, and homemade sopapillas with honey. I went over there, man, and I could not hold it back, man. I had to get my hands on some of this food because it was so good. It's one of my favorite meals. So I had me some chicken mole. I would say probably a little bit, about a cup of rice, and then some beans, and I had one sopapilla with a little bit of honey. And you know, I didn't really feel too bad after that, but the next day, what I noticed was pretty crazy. So the next day when I woke up, I realized that I broke out with acne all over my chest, guys. It was everywhere. I have never been an acne prone person. Don't really break out too much except on my back every now and then, I believe from the gym. But this is the first time I ever had a pretty severe acne breakout, and it was all over my chest. So I was like, what the hell? I was trying to figure out. I didn't know if it was from the diet, if it was from those carbs, maybe it was from my testosterone maybe jumping up from using and being on the diet, my hormones balancing out. I don't know what it was, but I got a lot of chest acne. So maybe that was due to cheating and introducing some high carbs and some sugars into the diet when on the 3rd week, and it just kind of threw me off whack. My body again broke out with some acne. But other than that, guys, the 3rd week I was feeling very, very good. Body felt like it was just doing its thing, and you know, I didn't have any issues at all. Usually I have a lot of neck pain from what I do. You know, as a barber, we stand there and our position is, our body position is always compromised. We're always standing in different ways that are not good for us. So I've always had severe neck issues, and those neck issues and tension cause a lot of migraines for me. So I usually have about 2 migraines a month. Sometimes I can get a little bit better depending on if I'm stretching and taking care of it. But what I noticed in this whole month on the carnivore diet, especially in the 3rd week, is I had no issues with my neck. None. I think it had to do with just the inflammation in my body had lowered so much now because of the diet that I had nothing going on really with the neck issue. I was really surprised at how much better I felt with my joints and my muscles because of this diet, which was fucking awesome. So then I entered the last week, guys, and the last week was very simple, man. It was really at this time I think I started to get really adjusted to the diet and how to eat, when to eat, things like that. I got it dialed in to where I was doing intermittent fasting, and from dinner to the early afternoon. So I went and I probably ate usually around 8 o'clock at night, and I fasted until about 1:30 the next day, and I did that daily. I was eating 2 meals a day, one at 1:30 and one around 8 o'clock at night. Every now and then I would have a little snack in between, depending if I went to the gym, and I would eat pork rinds, a lot of pork rinds, pork skins. The Epic brand is fucking awesome with their pork rinds. So those, summer sausage and some cheese, and then I would eat like sardines and stuff like that as well as my snack. I got the diet dialed into where I really liked it because I didn't have to worry about eating a lot, which was actually a pain in the ass for me before I was on the diet, getting in breakfast before I had to get to work and stuff like that. Now I didn't have to worry about that, so that was fucking awesome. And then just the eating when you're hungry and eating till you're full aspect of the diet was great because it was very simple for me to get in my nutrition when I needed it. And what it did is it kind of made my mentality change towards how I viewed food. My whole views on how food affected me changed. Now it's more about, I look at food as a source of fuel rather than some kind of enjoyment. And you know, it was very eye-opening, and it caused a very, very different relationship with my food, which I did really like. It became very primal, and that was something that I did want to get out of the diet as well. I just want to touch on my digestion and my sleep as well when it came to the 4th week on this diet. So my digestion was getting a little bit better. I think I was on antibiotics for 10 days. It started to become a little bit better. And right now, I'm feeling pretty good about my digestion. I am not really having any diarrhea or anything like that. Pretty normal stools. And you know, it's been pretty great when it comes to my digestion. I was having like really small stools, like rabbit stools, like small fucking stools. So it was that was a little bit weird at me at first, but then I come to find that that's just because my body's using up my nutrition in a more efficient way, and I didn't have that much waste coming out anymore. So that was a little bit weird at first, but I got used to it. Now digestion is good. Honestly, guys, this last month has been the best sleep I've had in a very, very long time. Before the diet, I struggled with my sleep. I was not good at sleeping. I never went to bed early. I woke up multiple times during the night, very light sleeper. I suffered from some like sleeping issues when I was younger in high school, insomnia kind of things. So I've always had issues with sleep, never really was the biggest fan of going to sleep all the time. But now, guys, this past month, I was out, man. There's a few nights there, you know, every now and then when I didn't have the best night of sleep. But overall, I would say I have not felt this good about sleeping in a long time. So it was a really good thing to be on this diet and realize that my sleep actually felt a lot better. I felt energized in the morning. I was able to actually get up and go right away. Before the diet, when I came into the barbershop, I was very, very quiet all the time. I just was not a morning person, but I noticed on this diet, as soon as someone sat in my chair, I was ready to go, ready to talk, ready to interact with people. I was a lot more alert, a lot more just sustained. So that was great, and I think that had to do with the fact that I was actually getting some adequate sleep for once. So that was a big plus, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the diet. All right, guys, so now, am I going to continue the diet? Personally, I'm not going to be continuing it just solely on carnivore. I think I'm going to switch to something that's a little bit more keto based. I would like to introduce some more carbs into my life just because personally I like to eat some kind of carbs just because I love food, guys. I fucking love food, and it's hard for me to turn away some things sometimes, you know. I do miss things like some bananas, berries, and fuck peanut butter, dude. Peanut butter, I miss that shit so much. So I'm going to be incorporating peanut butter, honey, things like that again because I do miss those. Maybe some oatmeal, some toast, avocados, things like that. And then I'm going to be just kind of still doing a lot of meat and high fats, and just sticking with more of a keto-based diet, trying to limit my carbs, you know, 50 grams or lower, something like that. But we will see how that goes. Again, the carnivore diet I really did like, and I would highly recommend the diet for anybody who is trying to really dial in their diet. Also trying to reestablish a different relationship with their food, reset their whole body. That's what this diet's good for, is resetting everything, guys, and figuring out what is bothering you. Maybe you have an intolerance to something, things like that. So I would highly recommend that diet, this diet for somebody who's trying to figure that out, or somebody who is trying to lose weight, because I ended up losing about 15 pounds, guys, on this diet. So here you go. So this was me before. Picture's going to be up here on the screen. This was me when I first started the diet. I know it's kind of a weird picture, but this is what I looked like before I started the diet, right before I started the diet. And here is me now. This was me yesterday morning. I leaned out a good bit. Again, I was hitting the gym a little bit. I wasn't too intense on the gym this past month just because of my foot, and I also ended up getting tattooed on my arms. So you know, gyms are a no-go for a couple days when it comes to getting tattooed, man, in my book. So took some time off for that. So I was hitting the gym, you know, but not too substantially, not intense or anything like that, and just maintaining. But I did end up losing a lot of weight, guys. I don't think I got too skinny, but I did lose some fat. I started off this diet at about 152 pounds. I ended up getting down, fluctuating between 136 pounds and 140 pounds. So it was pretty eye-opening and crazy to see how much it affected my body and how much fat I ended up losing to get leaner. So I think it accomplished the goal of getting a little bit more lean for me. But we will see if I can get that muscle built up a little bit more to really help out with what my goals are physically. So yeah, guys, that is basically my overview of my experience with carnivore for 30 days. I did enjoy the diet, but it was hard at times, and I did miss some foods, you know, and the social aspect about being carnivore was kind of a weird thing to kind of deal with, especially in you know, a barbershop scenario where you're meeting a lot of people, a lot of social aspects are going on around you. And you know, going out to eat, things like that, going over to your mom's house where she cooks fucking awesome food and not being able to eat it was pretty hard. But other than that, guys, the diet was pretty straightforward. For me, I feel like I'm a pretty disciplined kind of person though, so it was a little bit easier for me to actually adjust to it and stick with it. Things that I would highly recommend you do on this diet, just from my experience in the beginning, is really watch your water, guys. A lot of water is going to be needed to adjust. And your salt as well, guys. You want to be making sure that you are getting a lot of salt and electrolytes to balance out how your body is actually using water in your body. So that is a big thing as far as adapting. Making sure you're getting enough fats as well. I ate a lot of bacon, eggs, high fat steaks and meats and cheeses. And I did incorporate a little bit of dairy every now and then, a little bit of whole milk or 2% milk. Now I know that's kind of yay or nay in the carnivore community or whatever, but for me, it came from an animal and it worked out for me every now and then. So I would recommend just following that at least, guys, when you're starting out this diet. Is your water, your sodium intake, and how much fats you're getting. Make sure you're getting enough fats and not too much protein, because the protein can really plug you up or give you some pretty severe diarrhea. And you know, the fats are really what is going to make you feel very good when you actually finally hit ketosis on this diet. And I just want to touch on that as well. Is the ketosis part about this diet, guys, is crazy how it makes you feel. Again, to the energy, it just makes you feel so stable. And I noticed that when I was not eating enough fats in the diet, I felt very tired and also fatigued. So the fats are very, very important on this diet to make sure you're getting good fats. Now, you can eat liver, organ meats, things like that. I did not on this diet in the beginning, but I really do want to try it. I know that I'm not the biggest on eating liver and stuff. I don't like the way it tastes. Another thing I would highly recommend is being on a cod liver oil supplement. And this was my overall experience. Yes, I'm probably going to be doing something similar, more of a keto-based diet. Depending on how I feel, we'll see how my body reacts to different foods now. And I am excited to, you know, maintain and just be as healthy as I possibly can. I'm 30 years old, guys, and I feel fucking great right now. So I think a lot of it has to do with what you put into your body. And, you know, standard American society and Western diet is actually very unhealthy when you look at it. I think some of it is pretty backwards. And again, the more primal aspect about this diet was a big plus for me. So great thing that I did for myself was to try this diet. So happy with the overall results, and you know, I hope it helps out anybody out there who is looking to fight an autoimmune disorder or is trying to figure out their diet very, very well. Yeah, guys, that's one of my overall thoughts on the diet. But right on, guys, thank you again for checking out this video. A little bit different from the other stuff I did on my page, but wanted to give you guys an update on this carnivore diet because I know some of you guys were interested in it. So yeah, guys, this is Adam with Adam's Hair Stuff. We will see you guys next time. Take it easy.